Hey guys, Cam at Inky Knuckles here, coming back at you on Wednesday, new comic book day. Feels like we're starting to get some semblance of normalcy. New books are showing up, and Inky Knuckles is back with the Wednesday stream. This week we have a very special guest, Mr. Alexis Ziritt, and Alexis is going to tell us all about his process and his inspirations and all that good stuff. So if you're on the stream, feel free to hit us up with questions. And also, Troy Nixey is going to be guiding us through this journey because he can speak much more eloquently than I can. And I think we have a really good time when we get some artists chatting artist talk. I can only say so much because I don't know 1/1,000,000th of what these guys know. So without further ado, Mr. Troy Nixey, how you doing, Troy?
I'm very well, thank you. How's everyone out there tonight? Are you able to see numbers, Cam? Like, do you know how many people are watching and stuff?
Yeah, it says we only have 3 right now, but
no.
Mikhail and Jason both, I think, are on. So how's it going, fellas? Two knuckleheads who are both on your list, Troy. So
excellent.
Yeah, plenty of awesomeness there. And Octavio just hopped on too. He's
perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Anti-whiteout screen tone. So we'll just make fun of Octavio any chance you get. But yeah, so we're gonna be chatting with Alexis. I know you're a big fan. I'm a big
Absolutely.
fan.
Yeah.
And we've kind of clamored over his art before, just the two of us. But tonight we have the man himself. Alexis, how you doing?
Hey man, what's up? Troy, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. He's Alexis is the before and I'm the after, or the other way around.
I was thinking about that today. I'm like, both you guys, the beards look really good. Puts mine to shame. Yeah. Oh no, George just hopped on too. Hey George.
Well, this is all we got going for us, and we don't have anything up here, so we gotta, take care of what's going on here.
Yeah.
That's why it's dark where I am, so you can't see the recession. My forehead starts way back here. So.
Well, I was gonna make a crack because it's actually quite humid in Calgary right now because it's raining. But Alexis is in Florida, so I don't think we can say anything about humidity.
Actually, it's not. I moved to Tampa. It's not so bad here.
Really?
Yeah, Miami was horrible. Yeah. Well, like right now, it's 79, and the humidity is just. There is no humidity. Oh no, 70%. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. But it's interesting because I was saying to Alexis before we jumped on here that he and I have known each other through social media on Facebook first, and then onto Instagram. But we've actually never talked before, so this is the first time chatting. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and Alexis, just before we get started on the comic chat, are your gyms open, or are you still working out from home?
I actually, my wife used to have a box in Miami, so she sold everything, and we keep like a small amount, like a smaller some stuff for us. So yeah. I just train in my garage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
For those watching, all the big bulky guys that beat everyone up in Alexis comics, that's him in real life. So
right now I'm really into like kettlebell training, so that's all I do.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's always hard to get motivated enough to do stuff like that at home. So
yeah.
Good on you. But yeah, so I guess to kick it off, guys, we'll just kind of go in any direction.
Did you have somewhere where you wanted to start, Cam, or?
No, I'm curious right now what Alexis is working on comics wise. I know commissions and some album art he's been doing that you'll see more of. I'm kind of curious too on the Fortnite, the loading screen stuff, because I know nothing about that. But yeah, that's all I had in
Well,
mind.
if it's all right, before we get to what's going on now, and I did do some homework. I got some notes here that I'm hoping I can just glance over at, and no one will. It'll be very subtle. I'll look like a genius, like I remember everything. But I always like to ask cartoonists where it clicked in for them. Obviously you would have been reading a lot of comics and probably seeing stuff that we wouldn't have seen, being from Venezuela. But what was the point where it's like, I love reading this stuff. Oh, I want to create this thing. I want to create this stuff. What was the click for you?
So I am from like a really small town in Venezuela. Comic books are like really hard to find over there. Like usually you only can find comics on big city like Caracas. But like for some reason in the 80s we were like getting some DC comics from Mexico.
Ah.
So Novaro, the publishing company, was publishing DC comics in Spanish, and they were like selling all those in South America. So I grew up with my grandmother. I used to like get sick like alone when I was a kid. So my dad used to bring me like a comic book to read when I was sick. In Venezuela, we have like this. The Mexican thing was like they put like 5 comics.
Yeah.
With a cover, and they call it like a trade paperback. But actually, we're just like 5 comics glued together. So I remember like all he for like years he only like wrote like Superman.
Oh, okay.
Like 70s Superman.
Yeah.
No, the one was like not muscular, but was just like I don't know. It was like buff, but it wasn't like muscular.
Yeah.
It was like the typical like 70, like that body. Like I love it. So because I was like all day at home because my grandmother, she don't like to like let me like go outside or anything. I find out if I use like olive oil and put it on paper, it made like the paper look like like onion paper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it make it like clear. So I start like tracing comics.
Okay.
Yeah. So by the time I started like tracing for like almost like 2 years, I was like tracing Neil Adams, Batman, because also like the Mexican Novaro was doing like they were doing like the big comics, like they almost had like 11 by 17.
Yeah, like the album ones, like the
yeah. And I started like tracing comics until I started like just like drawing on paper. At that time, like Messenger C was like the #1 show on TV in Venezuela. I was just like selling Messenger C drawings to kids so I can like buy lunch.
And it's funny because I've discovered, and I throw myself in this too, is that so many cartoonists started so early. They started selling drawings to kids. Like I was selling artwork to my teachers in junior high school, and there's so many of us that, and I think that's what puts the the spark in us. It's like, oh, there's an ability to make money drawing, and I think that's a driving force in this, other than obviously loving what you're reading.
I never thought about like making money. Like actually, it wasn't until I moved to United States like so like probably I can make it or not, because when I moved, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make it, but then I go here, it's another reality. I was like a graphic designer in Venezuela. Here, I started washing dishes, was my first job here.
Yeah.
So I had to like everything. I had to like start everything from zero again. So for like maybe like the first like 7 years living in the United States, I was like, oh, I'm never gonna make it.
How old were you when you moved?
24.
Oh, okay. So because I know that you had started a t-shirt company and you had a indie comic co-op. At least that's what I've read.
Yeah.
So was that all in Florida? Was that all in the States?
Yeah, it was in Tampa when I went to college in Tampa.
Okay.
And with the people I was like working, we have like class together.
Yeah.
So I felt like some people really were into comics, and so we felt like, hey, let's like make like a comic like a comic company. So we went to shows and stuff like that. It was fun. Like that was the time I started like actually drawing again.
Yeah.
Like actually, I think I was thinking like, maybe I can make it, but I don't know. Comics is so hard, man.
So was that sort of your idea though? Was to do the co-op, or was it somebody else's idea? How many people were involved?
It was my idea. It was like me, John, Mark, Jason. It was like 6 people, 7 people, and at that time I started making a comic called Rudo. He was like a lucha libre guy.
Oh, okay.
He went in adventures like like killing vampires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was fun, and actually I submitted one to Image Comics in 2008. And it took like 1 year to get like an email from Image saying no.
That's not surprising though, from what I've heard. But did any of those artists in the co-op become professionals besides you?
Nope.
No.
Only me.
You're the one that powered through.
Yeah.
Are you still in contact? Like, did they find other areas of creative endeavors to go into, or
like last year, one of them he lived in Brooklyn, so I went to like New York Comic Con and we met. He's a Mark. He's a graphic designer. He made like all graphic design for at that time for the comics. It was great. Like probably like 3 years ago, I was like signing. I don't remember where. And one of the guys, like the writer, came to the signing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was cool seeing.
Well, comics is such a specific thing. It takes a lot of inner fortitude, to just deal even with the isolation, creating in the bubble that we do. So, yeah, it's definitely not something that everyone can do.
I always tell people that my only social time is like convention. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only time I have like I talk with my friends or like hang out with people. The rest of the year I just like here like going.
Just working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I try to find I don't really do shows, so I try to find that balance of being social, because it's I sort of need to recharge my batteries by being around friends. But yeah, you have to find a very understanding partner that lets you work the crazy hours that we work. That's for sure.
It's not only that, like sometimes it's like hard to like click with people when when like people like work like a real job and then like what you do and you're like.
Well, it's funny because they almost treat us like we're unicorns, because it's such an unusual job.
Yeah.
And so invariably, well, it used to be, it's sort of changed now, but they always be like, oh, I used to read Archie comics. And it's like, yeah, those are comics. I don't do anything like
that. Now it's changed from, I read Archie comics. Now it's changed into, I watched Avengers.
Yeah. Well, yes, exactly.
Yeah, now like they're related with a movie.
Yes. Yeah. So when you moved to the States when you're 24, and then that sort of became an objective, something you thought, it's like, okay, I can get into comics. So what was the first stuff out of the gate for you? Like, what did you first start working on? What were you creating? Was it your own stuff? Were you working with a writer?
So for the first 5 years when I was here, I was like depressed. Like I was in like a deep depression. Trying to like living in the United States. I don't have any friend, no family. I actually stopped drawing for like 5 years. But like by the end of the 5 years, like I started meeting some people making comics, and I started doing like mini comics. All about my depression. They were like really dark too.
Yeah.
So it was cool because I was living in Connecticut. we like meet like twice a month in the Mocha office.
Okay. Yeah.
Mocha for the show in New York. So that was cool because I was like nobody, but then I was like hanging here in that like office, with like original like drawings on the wall. It was like original like Mike Magnolia.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing.
And so at that time when you sort of started doing mini comics, because you talk about being in depression, but working on comics, because comics are, for a lot of creators, are very cathartic. Like it's a way of us dealing with things, and whether we understand that consciously or subconsciously. But it obviously got you to where then you started building on the mini comics and working on larger projects. So when did you sort of move over from mini comics? Because you've worked with Fabian a lot, but was that sort of much later down the road, or?
Yeah, that was like 2015.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So not for actually, like even like I think like 2012 was like my first Heroes Con.
Okay.
Pretty much I was just doing like T-shirts when I went to that show.
Yeah.
I made like a like a Tijuana Bible.
Oh, okay.
The night before the show, and that Tijuana Bible is like what like today people know as Tarantula. That comics are made with.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like of course the freaking like Tijuana Bible was like like XXX.
Yeah. So, but your version, your version, Triple X. It was okay.
Yeah.
So you went full Tijuana vibe.
Gene Rock, Nathan Fox, Ben Marai, like everybody there.
Yeah.
And then we're all like, hey, you do like really cool stuff and blah blah blah. So they're like, maybe.
Well, you and Ben are kind of in the same universe in terms of like what I feel your inspirations are and the kind of stories that you want to tell from that. Like you guys feel like you're very much in the same universe. So do you know Ben very well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like Jim Rock is amazing. You wanna like know about like underground comics? That guy is like a Bible. Like he knows.
But it's funny because he doesn't look like he would be the guy, right? Like he's such a clean cut guy.
Super nice, man. That guy is so nice.
But Ed looks like the guy though. Like I don't know Jim. I don't know Jim really.
But you know what?
I know Ed, but
even like Ed, like he looks like that, but he don't drink.
Yeah, doesn't smoke.
He don't hang out in parties or anything. So like like they're like really into comics.
Yes, it's incredible. I mean, he's like over 100 pages into his new book. It's like he's just a machine. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But so we're looking at Tarantula here. Is this the cover to the first issue?
Actually, that's a cover. That's a cover I made for the pitch. We never. Like the real cover was like paint.
Okay.
Over this drawing, it was like paint by my friend Ralph Nies.
Okay.
He's a German guy. For me, like the best artist making comics or whatever. Like that guy is the best.
What is it about his work that really speaks to you?
It's like everything I like. He's really good.
Yeah.
Like when I made like Ralph, it was like 2008 online. His level was like already he was like so far away, and he's everything he do is so good, like his ideas, because it's almost like the same thing I have. He wanna like combine like old 70s Japanese stuff, new stuff. So because I grew up like watching like 70s Japanese shows, I am in the same like character design. But
like those crazy live action shows where they're all in crazy suits and they fight like
everything. Like the Gona guy show, everything.
It's funny because I was sort of looking through your work today, getting ready to talk to you, and I missed that. And now that you say it, it's so obvious, and I feel kind of dumb for not picking up on it. There's definitely some elements of like those crazy 80s like horror fantasy action movies that like
There you go.
like Galaxy of Terror and Gore and Deathstalker.
I love Galaxy of Terror.
Yes, of course you do. But I never picked on picked up on the Japanese television stuff. But yeah, it's so obvious.
Well, you have like the Japanese television stuff. You have like the Italian like bootleg American movies.
Yeah.
You go from spaghetti western to like the police shows they have in the 80s. That's what I like. Everything is like, let's copy this, but just like, let's make it like over the top.
Yes. Well, and too, I think that this is where you and I are very similar, is that we're not just influenced by comics. Like, we're taking influences from a lot of different things. Like I'm a real movie guy too. Like I from storytelling just to the execution of how I approach my stuff is very movie driven, and I see a lot of that in your work as well. Obviously, we were just talking about it, but music too. Like, music seems to, like I feel like you probably listen to a lot of music.
Like, music is like really important to me.
Yeah.
Like, when I start like a project like Space Rider, I do like a playlist, and that playlist is the only thing I listen when I draw in that.
Yeah.
So if you go to my Spotify, you can find a Space Rider soundtrack, Tarantula soundtrack, Miami 1984 soundtrack, my new project Night Hunter soundtrack. Like, I made like a soundtrack for everything.
It's like you and Ed, getting back to Ed as well, is like when you read your work, like you can almost hear a soundtrack when you're reading your work, because it is the cinematic aspect, but there's just something about it where it's like, oh, this guy really, really likes his music.
So Space Riders, the first one, Volume 1 and Volume 2, stoner metal, doom metal.
Yep.
Space Rock. The new Space Rider, the one I'm working right now, doom metal, black metal. Tarantula soundtrack, like like Italian movies.
Yeah.
From the
Marconi, yeah.
Dublin. Miami 1984 is just like synth wave.
Yep.
The last one is just like industrial electronic music, like.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I think that plays into your use of color as well, where you are so bold in your use of. I wish I had the boldness that you have in your use of color, where you'll use just 2 or 3 colors. Like, even we looked at that Tarantula cover, and but you'll use bright pinks and bright greens on images where you think that would absolutely never work, and it totally works. And I think a lot of that has to do with the boldness of your imagery, that it just holds those bright colors really well in the contrast of it. I love it. I love your use of color as much as I love your black, your drawing.
Yeah, the color is a funny thing, because I hate coloring.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. every time I have to like color, it's like I hate it. Like it's boring. Like it's not like inking.
So are you So you're not thinking ahead then when?
No, when I draw in the panel, I already know what color is going to be.
Yeah, it would have surprised me if you didn't. Yeah,
like a page like that one right now. That was my first Space Rider. I was just like trying, to the bold color at the beginning was because I want to just like finish fast.
But it's funny, because if you didn't tell me that, I would never have guessed that. Like there's you posted a finished page of Night Hunters on your Twitter.
It's one like 3 colors.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I love it. And so for me, I love to immediately identify an artist's work. Like it's like, boom, oh, that's Alexis's work. Like I love that you really lean into what you do, and it just works. Everything you do just works so wonderfully as a whole. You know, there is like looking at this page now, like he's just dropped. He just dropped that pink into the bottom, and it's just a flat pink over the whole figure. And I don't know too many people that would have done that, but it totally works. Like it just works with everything, like with what it is, with the story.
So the color thing is like 2 stuff. Like first, it's like the bootleg comics you find like from I don't know, like Italian bootleg comics where they were like painted like in the wrong way. Like people like yellow and the hair is red. And the other thing is like Mario Bava color in the movie.
Okay, yes. Well, and it's funny because I did that pinup for you for the first. I have it here for the first Space Riders trade, and I was so excited to see you color it, and then you didn't. I was like, it's like I did the Mandrill character, but I was so excited to see you color it, and then you didn't color it, and I was like, oh.
Now I'm gonna color it.
I want to see what it looks like. It'd be amazing.
Really, man, like what happens is your style is so good, like white color, like
but it would have looked incredible.
No, people need to enjoy those like lines, like those strokes.
My fussy lines.
I always have like one of your books over my table, so I can just like look for like, okay, how I need to make these lines to look, because I don't know how you make it. They're like so clean.
It's funny because I look at your stuff and it's just like I just want to be able to loosen up a bit and do sort of bolder lines and sort of finding that energy to do that. That's the one thing that when I look at your work, there is just so much energy in it, and it's what I love about it is that there are like some really, really bold lines where someone might have like gone in and they were a little fussy with it, like I probably would have, but you just put this bold line in and it just works so much better than the noodling, like what I call my stuff with the noodling. But it's and it works so well for obviously what you're doing for the subject matter. And so we'll talk about you working with Fabian, because he must know you from back to front and front to back, or he's just really writing stuff for you to draw because he knows what you want to draw.
Yeah.
How does it work? How does it work with him?
What happens is like the way I make my projects is like different. Like actually, I came out with all the idea and then I look for a writer.
Yeah.
So when like Fabian or even like Carlos Gifoni, who is the new Space Rider writer.
Okay.
Like I give like Fabian, hey, this is a Capitan Peligro, this is Mono, and this is Jara. Like they fly in a skull. I want space, and I want like fighting, and I want this.
But it's funny because I've actually done that with Kari with the Black Sinister project. It's a story idea and a character that I took to him, and then he sort of just grew it from my original pitch. But yeah, it's great when you can collaborate with somebody and you just sort of hand them notes. And it's like, well, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, because if I made a comic book and I write it, it's going to be just like 555. Flash page, flash page. It's cool.
Some more fighting. But this is a perfect example of the use of color. It's you're making choices that I think a lot of creators would not dare to do. And that's what I really respect and appreciate about you. I'm just staring at it right now. Like
What
those gradient fades are like they're amazing.
Also, what I am looking when I do the color, it's like when people see this or they're like reading this, like I want they feel this is a comic book.
Yeah.
You know, this is like a comic book universe. You know, it's not like real.
Yeah.
It's a comic book. Because I hate like all these like new comics with like the Photoshop and they want to make all this like, you know, like make it look like real, like a real picture. Like, what is the point? It's a comic book. You want something real, take a picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of over rendering in comics these days, and I'm going to say it. I don't think there's a lot of necessarily really great, strong colorists in comics, and you know, so I think that they sort of lean into one style that they know works, and I've been lucky. I've worked with some really good colorists, you know, who are capable of doing different approaches, which is nice. And I've always sort of wanted to learn to do color my own stuff and see what that would look like. So, you know, when a cartoonist does all their own stuff, you know, they're doing the coloring as well. I really tip my hat to them, especially when they lean into something as original as your approach. And it is its own universe. Like everything is its own universe. But when you look at all of your work, like your different bodies of work, it's like a shared universe. Like everything feels like it could work together, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that.
Well, that's the idea for me. Like sometimes you can like everything is happening in that same like Alexis universe, you know?
So what was the sort of the growth period of Space Riders? Was like, did it come to you quickly, or was it something that was built up over time?
Probably from my idea to Fabian, it was like 5 months.
Oh wow, okay.
I was in a coffee shop and I started like I was listening to music and I started like drawing the characters. I was like, okay, I wasn't sure what I was what was the basic idea. At the beginning, I was like maybe like space pirates or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, like I made a spaceship a skull because I don't want to draw like a spaceship like all over the comic.
Yeah.
I really good at drawing skulls, so I said like let's do the skull so I can like draw like, you know, like I don't have problem with that. I also like told him like Fabian, I don't want to like draw anything like real, like everything to be like. So actually, when like what they do, like Fabian or like Carlos, it like they just like put like, okay, this is a fight, do what you do, you know?
Yeah. Well, and as it should be. I mean, if they're really sort of facilitating your vision, that's the best way to do it. This is like, you now have 3 pages to do with whatever you want.
So, you know, like, everything's like that. Like this character is a monster. Do whatever you want to do.
And so you came up with the idea. Clearly, you had a relationship with Fabian at the time.
Yeah.
And so that the first Space Riders book was the first time you worked together, or had you guys worked together before?
No, it was the first time. I put like a post on Facebook looking for saying like I have this idea, I need like a writer, like send me like some sample. I got like 2. Fabian was the second one, and I really like what he showed me. Because at that time, my favorite comics was oh my god, what is the name? The BRPD.
Oh yeah.
With
Guy Davis doing it?
Guy Davis, and the writer is
John Arcudi.
John Arcudi.
Yeah.
Like that for me. Like usually I don't read comics. I just like look they are. Like, I really don't fucking care about it reading. But like that's the only fucking comics I actually can like sit down and read. Like it's so good.
So were you trying to do like the Alexis version of that, like just bring that same energy, because it's a great team book. It's wonderfully written and drawn. It's that first BPRD stuff is amazing.
Oh,
So
yeah, when I showed it to Feria, I was like, I was just like looking for, like I told him, I don't want to make a comic that's gonna like change people's lives. This is supposed to be just like fun.
Yeah.
Then I told him, I want like the 5 panels, the most, a page. So every page is supposed to be like 3, 4, or 5. I don't want to draw more than that. I hate comics with like 12 panels.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, those work for certain things. I don't think that those work for what you're trying to do at all.
I don't like it.
Yeah, that's like watching an action movie on a phone or something, right? I mean, like with your stuff, you want the room. You want the elbow room to draw, skull spaceships in space. I mean, someone like Frank Miller can take 12 pages and do.
Japanese manga is also like that. It's only like 4 pages per page. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're producing such a huge amount of work per week. And that's the thing. Like with manga, and I feel like your work is the same. Like it's kind of meant to be made, experienced quickly. Like with manga, you're supposed to read it fast. And with yours, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you want to try and match the momentum of the action in your book. So, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to bog it down with, like multiple 12-panel pages.
Yeah. Sincerely, when Space Rider came out, I thought was only 5 of my friends are going to like it. And then, people are going to say, what the fuck is this?
But that's not what happened, because people did really like it.
Yeah, people really, really like it.
So much, in fact, you can't find it in Calgary. I got 1 copy at Another Dimension, and that's all I could find.
Fun fact: we premiered the first one in Seattle in the ECCC convention.
Yeah.
Black Master sent 2 boxes or 4 boxes. So when I went to the table, I see all these boxes. I said this is fucking crazy. We never gonna sell this.
They were gone.
And they were going today.
Well, and that speaks to, I think, that you guys hit on a really sort of cool time, and got ahead of things a bit. And clearly, people were ready for a book like this. And I mean, you guys have done. Well, you did a second one. You did Space Riders 2, and you're saying that Night Hunters is a Space Riders story?
No. Right now we're doing volume 3, Space Riders.
Oh, okay. So are you working on 2 things right now then, or?
It's called Vortex of Darkness.
You crazy man. So when you're tackling a new Space Riders story, how beholden to the past adventures, are you guys? Or do you just feel like, no, we're going to go balls out and just keep doing what we're doing? Or, are you mindful to keep them all working as a whole, like the 3 volumes?
Probably I just go actually, they make sense because the new one is 20 years later.
Okay.
So you have an older Capitan Peligro. He has a robot arm, and then Mono is more spiritual than the other ones. And the idea was for me was change the design of the character.
Okay.
So now I have Peligro have a mullet, all the stuff I like.
And so are you sort of drawing from the same, are you making sort of a new different playlist to sort of change the direction of how you're approaching it? And
this one is doom metal and black metal.
Yeah. So what are you specifically listening to? What's the black metal that you're listening to?
Wada is one of them. UADA. I think it's from here. Actually, like almost all the like cool black metal is from the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Inter Arma, who is from I think like Richmond.
Really? That's funny. What about all that death metal from like Iceland and stuff like that?
Like actually, the black metal from Iceland, they still are is it like the same people from like the 90s.
Okay, so just like all these guys with big white beards. It's funny. I was watching a show that
that's
takes
a new
place.
one. That's the new Space Riders.
Oh, this is the new one. Oh, great. Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah, that's Vortex of Darkness.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So when is this coming out then?
like the first one came out like a few months ago, and the new one is coming. I guess in probably July.
Is it through Black Mask again, or?
Yeah, Black Mask. Yeah.
I know very little about Black Mask. I should have done a little more homework on them. How did you get hooked up with those?
So actually, it was Fabian because we pitched Space Rider, the first one, to Dark Horse.
Yeah.
We pitched to another company. They say no. So Fabian say, hey, I made like something with like Black Mass and they're like really like punk or whatever. You want me to send it to them? I say like, yeah, man. And they say yes. That's how I got there.
And has it been good working? Well, obviously you've done quite a few books with them. Where are they based?
LA.
LA, okay. And so they probably just give you total creative freedom, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which is what you want at the end of the day. So it's great though that you can find a publisher like that for a project like this, and someone who just will support you guys doing your madness with this stuff. I love this stuff. I'm looking at it now, and it's incredible that these comics exist.
Oh yeah, this is the new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we initially did our live show on Instagram way back when we went through Alexis's pages, this is one of the pages.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff then.
Because I don't do like anything in the like. I don't title anything. You were like, okay, so this is from something.
It's keeping Cam on his toes.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing too, because usually if that happens with one of our artists, I'll just go buy the book if I don't have it, and then catalog it that way.
I just don't like it because I have to like write something on it, and then it's gonna look stupid. Oh, Space Rider, page 3.
So what you got to do, man?
Hey, by the way, Cam, in the last thing I sent, I put name on everything.
Oh,
yeah. I was gonna ask you. I was looking through that today, but yeah, no, it's all good. I love seeing it. That's for sure.
Well, so talk about Night Hunters for a little bit, because I love that page that you posted. So who's that with? Who's writing that?
Dave Baker.
Okay, and who's putting it out?
Floating World of Comics. It's a comic book store in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, so a comic store is actually publishing it?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's get into that, because that's happened in the past. I don't know if it's happened so much recently. So did they approach you guys to do a project for them, or?
Not really. Like, we were like looking for somebody, and then we were like in really serious talk with Dark Horse.
Okay.
I guess you have to go through like 2 meetings in Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Like one is like the editor meeting, and the second one is like the money people meeting.
The costing meeting, yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't pass the costing meeting. They say like we love they always say this we love Alexis, but we don't know how to sell this.
And looking at it, and this is no no harsh statements to either you or them, but you can look at that at a book like that, and you can sort of see what they're putting out now, and yeah, like it doesn't necessarily feel like a Dark Horse book. And the things have really shifted. Like I have a long history with them, but I'm now looking elsewhere as well. And it's just kind of a changing time at publishers, and so it's interesting that in that a comic shop stepped up and said, "Oh, we're going to put it out." Did you guys ever consider a Kickstarter or anything?
Wait. We went to Image.
Yeah.
And we say like, let's wait, like let's give it like Image like 4 months to come back with us for that. So Image like never come back, and then we went with we started talking with this guy because they knew the guy.
Yeah.
He knew he was like publishing on other people.
Oh, okay. So this isn't their first venture into publishing then. Okay.
No, it's not. The right now, like John Baker's comic, All Time Heroes comics or something like that. It's like really it's like underground. Like Ben Mara was doing stuff in there.
Okay.
So that comic was published by Fantagraphics.
Yeah.
And when Fantagraphics started publishing, they went that guy talking like the guy from the comic book store.
Okay.
I like the guy, like his book had like a really like nice quality, so I was like, I am cool with that guy. And then like we have like a good deal,
Yeah.
Because I want to keep the rights and all that stuff. Like that's really hard with a comic book company.
Yeah, it's that's very important. I always push that as much as I can, to unless the publisher is really stepping up and giving you some upfront money to then be involved in anything on the back end, then yeah, I mean you guys should hold on to everything.
Because this guy was going to publish, but he wasn't going to give me like upfront money, so we did like a Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
I get paid with that money from the Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's sort of really been changing a lot. Like you've probably been talking to your buddies about that as well, and just with seeing how the fragility of Diamond, you see a lot more creators that are just going straight to fans, sort of really cutting out the middleman completely in terms of the distributor, and you see people like is it Ryan Brown who did God Hates Astronauts? Like he had one recently, and he made like $100,000 on that, and Jim Rugg probably made close to that. I didn't actually see what his final number is, but
David Rubin, the guy from Spain, he was making like a comic with like I don't remember the writer, but they made like $200,000.
It's awesome. And it's just if you put the book out and fans really seem to appreciate that, creator to purchaser, fan kind of setup. And yeah, there's a lot of people doing that now, and I think you're going to see it more and more. I'm sure some will be successful, some won't. But
like for me, like the best way to make comics now is Matt Cain. There you go. And for me, like the best way right now to make comic, if you want to make money, is a Kickstarter or Image Comics.
Yeah.
And for like me, Image Comics is like the sword in the stone. You pull it. Oh no, next time.
So with this new book, are you going to be putting out single issues, or are you just going to be putting it out as kind of a graphic novel?
No, it's gonna come out like 4 issues. And after that, it's gonna come out as a graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
So like the first people like getting the comics is gonna be like the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And then like I forgot his name, Jason from 40 Worlds Comics. He's gonna put he will like put it like in every comic book store or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting. I've been kicking around the idea of just doing starting to build something on Patreon and just start putting pages out through there, and then whatever it becomes, finding some way of publishing it and sort of circumventing the whole floppy kind of approach, first floppy to trade approach, because I've been finding, because fans now know that inevitably it's going to be collected, so they might read the first 2 issues and then they don't read issues 3 and 4 because they're just going to wait for the trade. That seems to be happening more and more, and then retailers get stuck with extra copies of stuff because they ordered so far out, and it's like, oh well, people aren't picking this up now because they're going to get the trade, and then maybe the trade orders are down because they didn't sell issues 3 and 4, so they don't know if there's going to be the buyers there. It's all very crazy.
I've been lucky, like because people that like my art, they wanna have like the different like 4 colors.
Yeah.
And they will like the trade.
Yeah, you have a pretty rabid, pretty huge fan base. Like you have a lot of people that really, really appreciate what you do, and don't feel bad about that. It's just what happens. But yeah, like you have a lot of fans, and do you sort of feel like you need to, like, you're just doing what you're doing, like you don't feel like you need to keep up things in a certain kind of way because your fans expect it, or you just do what you do?
I just do what I do, man. I am too old for that shit.
You keep saying that, but I'm older than you, so. But yeah, it's great. So do you find that crossover of fans, like on Instagram, for instance, who then follow you, or like they're good enough fans, they follow you and they buy your books?
Yeah. It's cool. Like usually I just like care when it's like people I like, liking my stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the other stuff, because you do a lot of work for bands. You do album covers, which obviously must be really, really cool for you, since music is such a big deal in your life. How is that happening? Are they approaching you, or?
Like actually, like most of the art I do for like bands or stuff. Everything like came for Instagram.
Yeah.
Actually, I can say like 80% of whatever I do is because Instagram. Oh yeah, I just made that one.
Is that
I didn't. Sorry, Alexis. I didn't post the colored finished version just because I know that they're still, they're making tweaks to it. But this is one of the most recent album covers, Troy.
And who's this for?
Brothers Cake.
The Brothers Keg, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's Swedish. Where are they from?
Oh, I forget.
Uh-huh.
I'd have to double check.
Well, they're from Europe. But
Yeah.
They actually like play doom metal, and really good. I like it.
Well, I didn't think they'd be a banjo band.
Country music now.
So when they approach you, they give you?
Actually, Cam was the one that actually got that one.
Yeah, they reached out to us for that one. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So, and did they give you a lot of sort of art direction, or they just said, go be you, go create something that's yours?
Usually, they just like tell me, like they show me like some of my art and say like something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good reference point. Your own work.
I know like it's funny, but like the people who pay you the most, like like big companies, I like the ones that have like they never have like a law like say in the drawing. They say just like, hey, we want something like this. Usually I go to like through reviews, and they're like really like simple reviews. Like, can you make this guy a little bigger? And that's it.
Yeah.
So I know that because it's so much money. Usually like the people who pay me the less are like the one like that in the pain the ass.
Well, this one, the colored version, Troy, they asked for. Well, they didn't ask, but they wondered about a different colored skull. They went.
No. That one is easy, but like I say, like sometimes when I do like beer labels and stuff like that, like that.
Yeah. Or it's just really finicky stuff that doesn't make a difference at the end of the day. Yeah. Well, that's really cool. It's something that allows you to be you, but also, sort of in a different format. It's kind of so if it's is it, are they going to print it? Like, is it for an actual album, like a record, or is it for
Yeah, I made a square, so hopefully.
Yeah. I've done a little bit of it. It's kind of fun to work in different formats, instead of just, your standard 11x17 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although you don't typically work, well, you sort of work different sizes.
No, like right now I'm just working 11x17.
Oh, are you? Okay.
The segue to this picture that Alexis sent me.
Now, is this the Magic the Gathering card? So you blew everybody's fucking mind when you posted this, and you probably could have sold this thing 100 times, Cam, if I remember correctly. Didn't everybody? Yeah. It wasn't everyone clamoring for it.
There's a ton of inquiries, and the first person who got back to us, first person who asked, as soon as we gave him the ask price, he jumped right away. And then I got about a dozen inquiries after that.
So how did this come about? How did you get a Magic the Gathering card?
The same. Like I got like an email by the creative director from Wizard of the Coast. I think it's the company.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, I love your work. Like blah blah blah. Like, you wanna do like a Magic card?" So like, fuck yes. I wanna do that. It's so funny because like Magic card is something like I don't play the game, but like I know, for like the 90s, my friends like playing Magic card and all that stuff. I always like say like, man, I'm never gonna do a Magic card because like it's all painting and like that was always in my brain. Like something I'm never gonna do is a Magic card because my fucking comic book style. Like nobody wants.
But apparently you were wrong, my friend.
Here we are.
Did it pay pretty? You don't got to tell me how much they paid you, but did it pay pretty well? Nice.
I got paid for that. The same I get paid for making a 22 pages comic book.
Whoa, that's amazing. More Magic cards, please.
Yeah.
Did they sort of suggest that there's a possibility for more? Or?
I actually made another one.
Oh, you did? Oh, see, there you go.
I can't talk about it, but yeah, I made another one.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and it's fun to do stuff like that, because it's sort of. I remember when it popped up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, "What?"
It's like my post with more likes ever. It was like 3,000 something.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, well, and it probably took people by surprise because it's not something they would expect. But and it was this big, like your stuff is epic to begin with, but it was this really kind of epic image. And oh, there it is. There's the finished card there. So, yeah, and I mean, Magic is still really huge. I didn't know. I knew about it when it sort of first started, but I hadn't really paid attention until I walked into a comic shop a number of years ago, and they still had all the Magic cards, and I was like, "This is still a thing," and they laughed at me because it's like, "Yeah, it's massive." It's pretty good. So Jeff Darrow did one back in the day. That would have been interesting to see.
Darrow is Jeff Darrow, man.
You and Jeff Darrow. And so what's this? Everyone's talking. I did see the Fortnite piece you did. So same kind of thing. They just reached out to you and.
Fortnite, yes. Again, another creative director like send me an email. I said again, Alexis, I follow you on Instagram. I love your stuff. You want to do like a Fortnite loading screen? And my son is crazy about Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
So actually, when I got that gig, I was like buying a computer for him only to play Fortnite. It was his Christmas gift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I keep quiet for like 4 months
until shit!
Like came out. So I showed him like actually in the game, like okay, put the game. And when he saw like the drawing, he was like, "What?" I the picture in like in Instagram. Say like when words go live. I think was the title when words go live, and he was with in the screen like looking the game with my drawing.
That's
It
amazing.
was really nice. They put my name on it too.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because that's usually something you wouldn't think that they would have considered. That they would have just been like, man, whatever. We pay these artists, but yeah, that's incredible. But it's fun. Like I love doing stuff like that too. Like these opportunities to.
Yeah. So today another one came out with the new season of Fortnite, and right now I'm working on another one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that screen. So as the game's loading, that's the image that comes up. Or I'm not like I'm the least video game guy in the world, but
it's when you the guys like download that screen. So every time like the game is like loading,
yeah.
that's a screen for loading.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. That's amazing. Well, and the good thing about this kind of stuff is when you do one, then more comes, right? Like then it's like people start to think of you in terms of other than just the comic book guy. I mean, obviously
this one saved my life because this came out just the Friday before the lockdown.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So so let's just say like there's a lot of people that are playing Fortnite looking at your image. So
so that one just came in the right moment. Well,
yeah,
going to lockdown and everything was going to hell.
Well, and so we'll get into that a little bit because I've found talking to other creators, it's sort of been up and down and back and forth. But how were you during the lockdown creatively? Like, were you able to find a groove and get a lot of work done, or was it just really stressful?
Well, first I have two kids.
Yeah,
I have to do like the online class, and then like I usually my regular day I eat like noontime or 1 p.m. because I do like fasting and then I totally forget about eating because I'm drawing.
Yeah.
But now I have to like wake up and do like breakfast. I have to like do different breakfast, one for my daughter, one for my son, and I have to have lunch again. So I'm cooking like twice already. Yeah, and every time I cook, it's like it takes me like a long time to like come back again to the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is the one thing that is kind of hard for people to understand is like you just can't turn it on and off. It's not there's not a volume knob. It's you got to get into the flow of it. Once you get out, even if it's just to even just to go to the bathroom, and you're kind of like, oh, can I find that again right away?
My wife used to be like that, like, hey, can you go to the supermarket and bring me something? I was like, I'm fucking drawing.
The hardships of our lives. So you have two projects going right now. You have a Space Riders, the 3rd volume of that on the go, and Night Hunters on the go. So what's when are those both supposed to come out? And so Night Hunters is already coming out?
Yeah, Night Hunters is coming out in October.
Oh, okay. But so Space Riders is already coming out.
The second one.
Yeah. Second issue.
Issue 2.
Yeah.
I'm working right now in issue 3, finishing issue 3. I'm working issue 3 on Night Hunters too.
Yeah. That's crazy. You got 2 books on the go. I couldn't even imagine it. So do you have a lot of stuff? Are you like because I have any number of projects on the go at one time, just in terms of different stages of development. Are you sort of the same? Like, do you sort of know what you got coming after those 2 are done, or?
Yeah, sometimes like that. Like right now, it's just like that. But sometimes everything like I think like the problem with freelancing is sometimes you have to say yes to everything.
Yeah,
because you don't know when, because like probably like summer, I don't have like anything, and then like everything like came together.
Yeah,
all like the same day. It's like a Friday, bling 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 bling, like 5 emails. Like
yeah.
So like right now Yeah, I am like I'm probably like full for the next 2-3 months.
And so
But
what?
I'm still saying yes to everything.
Yes. So what is your work like? So the lockdown, COVID aside, what is like a normal day? What's a normal work day for you? Like, how fast are you?
I usually like right now I'm doing the pencil and the iPad.
Okay.
I'm printing the blue
Yeah.
in the Bristol paper. So I usually like because I go really fast like gesture style with the pencil. So I print like both. So I print like 5 pages. I always like have like a number.
Yeah.
I say like okay, 5 pages for this week. So I print like both. So I work first in like Night Hunters, and because for me right now, Space Rider is more easy because it's whatever I want to do. So I just leave those for when I need to like a break
Yeah.
or warm up.
Well, and two, I mean, the familiarity. I mean, those characters.
Yeah.
You've drawn them, hundreds of times now. So, and
But
so you sort of work in 5-page chunks. There's a manga artist who I watch some of his videos on YouTube, and I'm completely blanking on his name, but he works in this sort of the same style. Like, he'll work in 4 or 5-page chunks, and he just sort of does passes on them as he goes, and it's just, at first you think, well, this is kind of ineffective, but then as you watch more and more of it, it's like, oh no, this really works. Like, this is really good.
So in the beginning and like 2015, like probably like 8 years ago, I used to like go like panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4. Now I just like start with the easy one.
Yeah.
The easy one is just a face. I go to that one. And then I find like the next, probably the next one is gonna be like the next easy one, or like the next I really want to draw. And then I do the panel, and then I just finish whatever the rest.
It's funny because when I start something new, I'll do like page 4 or 5 because it's always a little rough, and so I'll bury the rough page, not too far into it, but a few pages into it. And then once I've done that, but I'm like, I'll go back to page 1, panel 1, and I've done that every time. So I'll just draw in order as I go. And but my roughs are ridiculous. Like, they're so rough, like my thumbnails, and so like I have to draw in order because I'm kind of figuring it out as I go.
I have to like sometimes I have to like read the script again because that's what I do. Like, I read the script like once, and my second reading, I just draw the thumbnail at the end of each page. But sometimes when I come back next day, it's like, what is this? Like,
yeah. I was gonna ask you that. I've had that too, where I've done thumbnails. I'm like, this is great, and come back to it a couple days later, and you're like, what the hell is this?
I want to read the less possible. I just want to go, like do my thing.
Yeah.
Well, I just like need the idea, okay? Because I need to know where is the balloon going and all that stuff. But I just like okay, I read it, I understand what it is about. Let's do it.
Well, there's an artist, and I wish I could remember who it was, and his layouts were, he would lay out the page, like his panels, but then he would just write what it was. And so it was like Bob and Joe medium shot, close up Joe, close up, and that was his layouts. It was amazing.
That's a Japanese way too. Actually, some guys just like start with doing the balloons and the writing inside the balloon.
Yeah.
And pencil. So they're like writing actually the story.
Yeah.
In each like page is insane. but they make like 30 pages.
Well, it's like, it's their schedules would. I mean, I could never ever do it. They would just.
By the way, like I was like really behind with like Tarantula deadline and have to do like I did like 30 pages in almost like 1 week.
Oh.
I went to a really dark place, bro.
Yes. It was really sad. It was really sad.
My wife told me, like, like quick comics, like they're gonna kill you. I was like in a really bad place.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that kind of like I've had to in the past have some pretty crazy deadlines, but I've never had anything like that. You probably couldn't even talk to you. You were just like this
Oh no,
wild animal in your office. So who's in your comic creating community there? There are folks in Tampa that you well, you don't really hang out with people, but
so in Miami was Vanessa Del Rey.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Actually, she wasn't like training in my wife's gym, so
Oh,
she usually like came early and we draw and talk, and then like we train together. It was cool, but then she moved to New York,
okay.
and after that was like hanging out with some. They have like a small community in Miami, really small, but
Yeah.
like mostly like underground comics. The problem with Miami is you have to like drive everywhere.
Yeah, it's like LA.
Everywhere takes you like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And people drive really bad too, so it sucks.
Yeah, that is sort of a impediment to that because it's like if you have someone close, you can kind of have lunch every once in a while. But yeah, if you have to hop in your car and get on the expressway for 40 minutes, that doesn't happen very often. Yeah.
So then I moved here, and yeah, like this is like a small town, strong town.
Tampa? Is Tampa small? Well, it's big enough to have,
No, because I live like south of Tampa.
Oh, okay.
I am like 30 minutes from Tampa right now.
I was gonna say, I mean, they got 3 of the 4 professional sports leagues. Tampa can't be that small.
Tampa's okay.
Yeah, my cousin lived in Tampa for a time. I never visited, but I remember them being there. But yeah, well, it's. Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, I went with some friends the other day. I like it. It's getting like more fancy now, Tampa.
Okay.
More hipsters, I guess. So now, like when I was living here, like 6 years ago, it was like this rough neighborhood, and now it's like a hipster neighborhood.
Okay.
And it was amazing. They have a video store, like like Italian crazy movies video store next to a comic book shop, next to like a metal like record store.
So it's like you're heaven. It's funny because it's sort of finding those spaces because like that's what I look for too is like where are those little pockets that I like to go to. Like I like to work in comic shop or coffee shops a couple times a week if I can. So always finding those little pockets of places that you just feel comfortable enough to park your keister for a while. It's fun. You need to do it. I mean, you need to take a break every once in a while from the table, right?
It's funny you say that, Troy, because the first time we ever met, the barista shouted your name as you walked in the door. So that was easy.
Not my plan.
Yeah.
No, that was my buddy Andrew. I had been going there a while, and it was funny. And I walked in, he's like, Troy! And it made things very easy for Cam to find me.
It wasn't even just Troy. It's like, oh my God, Troy Nixey just walked in.
Oh, it wasn't like that.
I'm like, oh, he said your last name too.
He did, yes. He did.
So it made my life easy too.
It's funny. Well, is there anything else you wanted to touch on, Alexis? Like, what else have you're a man of many things. What else you got going on now? You got 2 comic projects, but you got another Magic the Gathering card going.
I did like another Magic card. I'm working on a new loading screen for Fortnite. I'm doing like design for like a hot sauce bottles.
Oh, that's cool.
What else? Oh, I'm doing like character designs for again. I already like did like a bunch like a few years ago, but they asked me for like 4 more again. So I'm doing like character design for Kung Fury 2.
Oh, okay.
That was amazing jig too, because I love that movie.
Man, it's great to get all that extra stuff. You know, it helps fill in the gaps for sure.
And also, Troy, you asked me for the comic books.
Yes, one thing I wanted to do, thank you for reminding me, is I wanted to ask you, like, what, and it didn't have to be anything new. It could be new, but it didn't have to be new. But like, yeah, what's like, what did you read? Like, what have you read that you loved, like, that got you really excited?
Yeah, so this was really hard.
Yeah.
Stuff I like. So I guess this is the winner.
I don't know that one. What is it? Because I don't know that one. I'm gonna write it down right now. That, I mean, it so looks like you. Like it's up your alley.
Exactly. So I was in Toronto in the Big Island.
Yeah.
I went looking for like some Christopher Blaine comic. So as soon as I get there, they told me, "Oh, it's so loud."
Oh.
So I was like, because I just like get off the plane, I went to that shop. So I was like, all like broke heart, like, oh my god. So I started just like looking for something, like give me something.
Yeah.
And this showed up, and this is amazing.
So hold it up a little longer. I need to write down the name again. It's. So what's I'm gonna write down the what is. It looks like kind of a cool action espionage kind of thing. What is it?
Well, Troy, it's in French.
So. So you're gonna just have to use the comic verbiage then, like through the art.
You can French, Troy, but I just want to show you the face because it's like fantasy and it's like what you say, like investigation or
yeah. Oh my god, that art is amazing. I love that. Is it black or it looks like it's
green.
It's green. It is green.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's like 5-2.
Oh, that's great.
It's everything, man. It's everything I like in one comic.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. It's it has some Bletch. Did you know what's his name? Now I want to pull some books.
Wait, it's a collection of 3 books.
It's like, oh, okay. Are you just hang on one sec? So I'm not sure if I should show you this or not because First Second crapped out on the publishing of it. Are you familiar with that?
Oh yeah, I have it.
Oh my god, it's amazing. And then they just stopped. Like after book 6, it made me so angry.
Yeah, I have like 1 to 6 too. And then I follow like the guys on Instagram, and they show like all the collection, like 20 books. And I was like, what?
Yep. And so there's some rumors that that someone else might pick it up and finish it or like start it over again. But I was so mad. I emailed First Second. I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, no, we're not finishing it. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
They didn't give me a reason why, and so I'm only speculating. But they kind of turned to a YA publisher, and that's not a YA book. So I think that they just shifted gears, and because anybody that I recommended that to absolutely loves it, and so it's just so frustrating that they just ended it.
I love it because it's you can see like the guy working animation, like have like that like animation, like sketch style.
Yeah.
Fluid, like, and the framing and that book is so awesome too.
Well, what's incredible is it's 2 artists, and it's you don't even know like you once you sort of figure out how one like there's subtleties, so you can tell like if you have a good eye, you can sort of pick the 2 out, but like it's seamless and it's just so open and flowing and beautiful, and it's just Oh, and it's superb. Like the writing is amazing. And I was I hadn't been that excited about a book in a really long time, only to have for a second to fucking crap out and not finish it.
Pulled out from.
Well,
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up when we're done here and see if I can get it on Amazon or something.
I got this in Toronto, and the other two I got in Amazon.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look it up.
They're all in French, anyway.
That's all right. I can sort of clunk myself through reading French. I can't speak French, but I got an ear. If someone's speaking French slow enough, I can kind of get it. But and I can read a little bit. But
so nobody speak French in Calgary or
Calgary? No. Well, we're sort of in Western Canada, so I mean, we do have two official languages, English and French here, but you find people speak a lot less French here in the West. Yeah, it's mostly out east. Unless Cam, are you fluent in French?
No.
En français?
No, I think we took it until about grade 9 or 10, and then that was it.
You quickly forgot it.
I unlearn everything almost instantly.
Yeah,
so.
It's actually
Montreal.
It's a regret I have. I actually wish I could speak and read French.
Montreal, hey, when you speak English.
Yeah, well. So how many you speak? You speak obviously 2 languages, Alexis, or do you know more?
Nah,
just 2.
Spanish.
2. Yeah, that's good though. One more than me.
Well, I think that's part. And what happened, in a lot of your books, Alexis, the names on the bars and even the speech, you kind of incorporate some Spanish into it, which is.
Well, I mean, the characters supposed to be Latinos too, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why they say like words in Spanish, and the names are in Spanish too. Like even in Night Hunters or Night Hunter is a cyberpunk book.
Yes.
So it's in Caracas, Venezuela, and people have like Spanish names and they speak some Spanish.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm excited for that one. That's sort of I have a soft spot for cyberpunk, which no one believes me when I tell them, but I love it because everyone's like, everything you draw is old. It takes place in olden times. But yeah, no, I love cyberpunk.
Well, I was like really into like Ghost in the Shell, in the 90s.
Yeah.
Everything like that guy did.
Sure.
All the animation they came with like Japanese cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Were like all so good. So I also like want to do like something cyberpunk.
It's cool. I'm super excited for it, and so and that'll come out through Diamond as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be one of those guys that waits for the trade. I don't get into a comic shop that often, but I'll know to keep my eyes peeled for that. So.
Oh, me neither. Like, what happened? When I moved here, like, of course, like I saw a comic book shop for the first time in my life. I was like, oh my god. So I got my first like list.
Yeah.
And then I go like this because like every like 3 months, like they change the artist in a comic book. So I was like, I was having this book because I like the art. Because like I say, I don't care who's writing. I buy a comic because they are, and then like the art. It's for me. It's like okay, I don't want that comic anymore. So for 1 year, I did like the list thing, and then I closed. I said, I prefer like pass by and get whatever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's it.
Well, and I mean, there's something to the books. I like being able to put it on my shelf, rather than.
Also, I am also like really into like independent stuff, like people doing their own thing. So some of my collection is just like that. Like I go to like somebody like like personal store and get it.
Oh, Dylan got backed it there for you. So on your Kickstarter. No, Dylan, it'd be good. You get the 4 issues. There's still some sort of some cool stuff of reading like I don't have Ronin as a trade. I actually have Ronin as the single issues, and there's something kind of cool with pulling those out every couple years and reading it as the single issues rather than as the trade.
No, I have like single issues. If I love a comic, I have like single issues. I have a trade. Sometimes I have 2 trades for some reason. Like sometimes I have the comics and I saw it like somewhere and said like, oh shit, I need it. And when I comics, I already have it.
I've done that before. You can't really return a comic to a comic shop. Can I bring this back, please? Well, what do you think, Cam? Do you have anything to add besides the barking dogs?
Yeah, that's my big one. She's such a chicken, but she's got like a terrifying bark, so it's a good deterrent. But yeah, no, I don't have too much else. That was a great conversation. Well, we're gonna have both of you guys back on, so I say let's call it there, unless you guys have anything to add. We're at that hour and a half mark, Troy. That's kind of what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
Any kind of last words? Any questions you guys have of each other before we go?
No, but like probably like tomorrow or sometime in the week, I'm just gonna scan my first comic.
Oh yes!
Oh, awesome!
Yeah. That's amazing.
When I was like 12 years old, pretty close to Space Riders.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing. Yeah, you have to scan that. That's incredible. That's the best artifact I've seen in a long time.
And that was after the olive oil tracing paper.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. You know what you should do? Is you should scan that and you should add it as an extra in the back of the Space Riders trade. You should totally print that.
I also like trace some
Madonna. Was that like her a virgin years? I'm trying to place the hairstyle.
Yeah, I traced it for a book about like drawing from the 60s, something like 40s, on the 40s, yeah.
That's incredible.
I stopped coloring by the end.
Oh, you just yeah. That is so good.
Oh, that
guy. Who's getting his? It's like Cyclops. I love that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Oh, the final page.
Oh yeah. Always gotta end a story on a kiss, right?
And my sketch, my doodles.
I love the shirt with the eyeballs on it. That's the face. Is that Lionel?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's incredible. Oh, nice. You got it, everybody. Snoopy. You got Woody Woodpecker. That's great. So clearly you were encouraged to draw then. That wasn't a no-no in your house at all.
Nah, yeah, I was encouraged to that. Oh yeah. Even like designs for the comic.
Oh yeah. Hey, if Todd McFarlane could do 300 plus issues of a character that he created in school, then why the hell can't you, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, well, thanks to both of you guys. That was awesome and a lot of fun, and we'll do it again here soon. For everyone watching, there'll be some art drops from both these gentlemen coming up in the next week, 2 weeks. Lots of announcements on the way for both these fine young gentlemen. So keep your eyes peeled. Thanks to everyone watching. Thanks to you guys. And any last words? And we'll log off.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a great time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.